First to the dais, please.
What are you doing? Yeah, she got me on all that.
I'd like to begin this evening's meeting. If everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please.
Mr. Hagedorn,
Here.
Ms. McElfresh,
Present.
Mr. Hickman,
Present.
Ms. Cloyd, Mr. Funk,
Here.
Mr. Brown,
Here.
Mr. Graves.
Here.
Thank you.
Now I'll take a motion to approve the council minutes of February 24th.
So moved.
Motion, may I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to the visitors section, we have Patricia Dawson with the Butler County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Welcome.
Thank you. And I also have with me Rachel Ransbottom, if that's okay. She's a board member for our board. She's also somebody supported by the board. Actually, she's the first person with a developmental disability to be on our board. So if that's okay, she'll present with me as well. And I did have a presentation. Do we have that?
I emailed, I didn't receive one.
Oh, shoot. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay. Well, we will wing it. If it's okay, I'm just going to pull up my laptop to help keep me, like, on check. Okay.
Sure. You're fine.
So we'll have less pictures, but we'll still be able to get the story across. Let me just open this quickly. I'm so sorry. Dual authentication. Okay. I know you all won't see this, but this at least helps me stay on track, if that's okay. So, March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and so we're so grateful for the opportunity to come here and talk about what it is we do, who we support, and why that's important. Our mission is actively partnering with people to access the world. And when you first hear that, it sounds kind of basic or like, oh, okay, that's nice. But really, when you understand the history of it, you start to see how profound that really is. So prior to the 50s, parents who had children with a developmental disability, they had really two options. They could keep their child home and do the best that they could with the limited resources they had, or they could send them to a state institution so that that child would be raised separated from them, from their community, from everybody they love. In the 50s, parents demanded better, and ultimately what came from that is the county board system. Ohio is one of the, I believe there's less than 5 states that actually have a county board system, so it's really incredible what we have here. But that was a grassroots effort demanding better so that people with developmental disabilities could access their world. So when I say our mission, actively partnering with people to access the world, it's really profound when you understand it in that history. We support, last year we had about 4,300 individuals that we supported, and those supports spanned throughout a lifetime, from birth until death. And I'll get into a little bit of what that looks like. First, it's good to understand what a developmental disability is. That is, according to Ohio law, a severe and chronic disability that is likely to last a person's lifetime, and it's developed before the age of 22 and is due to a mental or physical impairment or a combination of both. Some that you might be familiar with are autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. And I got so distracted by this PowerPoint that I forgot to let Rachel introduce herself. So if Rachel could introduce herself, and then also if you want to speak about your own experience.
So hi, thank you for having me. My name is Rachel Ransbottom. Like Patricia said, I'm the first person with a developmental disability to sit on the Butler County Board who receives services. I actually grew up here in Monroe, and I just moved to Hamilton last year. And I have a traumatic brain injury, from a car accident when I was 5. And I get a lot of services from the board.
So Rachel's experience, she was born typical, and then that injury when she was 5 that's when we stepped in and were able to be a support to her and her family. If that had happened before, after she turned 22, this would not be a support that we would be able to provide. It's during those developmental stages. We provide a person-centered philosophy, the way that we operate is on a person-centered philosophy, which means what works for you and you alone. That's important when it comes to understanding how we support people with their funding, but it's also important just in understanding what that looks like day by day. So,
Everybody's needs are different.
yeah, exactly. Everybody's needs are different. I'm just gonna flip this over because I love these pictures. This is Ray and Vicky. This is their wedding day. They knew each other earlier in life, then they reconnected, and they decided one day that they wanted to get married. And so our staff worked with their direct support providers, and they took Ray ring shopping. They took Vicky dress shopping. I was there on the day of their wedding, and she was just she had been like, I look like a princess. I was like, girl, you do look like a princess. It was wonderful. So that's like a big, grand gesture of what this could look like, but it also could look as simple as understanding what a person's interests are and helping connect them to supports that align with that. Do you have anything that you want to add to that?
For, which part is it again?
Just person-centered planning, what that looks like for you and your experience?
Well, for me, it just helped me get more involved in my community, because before I found out about the services I could have or really got involved in the community, I felt very isolated. I didn't really go anywhere or communicate with much people outside of my family and the home. And once I got involved in services, and we also have a self-advocacy group called Speak Up, and I met a lot of people through that. And services also give me transportation, so I can go to a job, I can go to the grocery store because I can't drive. I can also use that to go to Inside Out Studio in Hamilton, and it's our studio for people with developmental disabilities to make and sell their art and get experience with that.
So a lot of what Rachel just described is more of like our adult supports. We also, at ages 0 to 3, we provide early intervention. So what that looks like is we have physical therapists, speech pathologists, occupational therapists. They'll come into the home or into the child's natural environment. Maybe it's daycare, maybe that child goes to McDonald's a lot, and that's a space that they can meet at. It's somewhere in that child's natural environment, and they work directly with the child, but more specifically, they use a coaching model of care. So they work with the caregivers, with the parents, with whoever it is that works with that child, and teaches them how to work with that kiddo so that they can achieve their milestones. It's a significant support that's provided. This is the most conservative estimate that I've seen. For every $1 spent on early intervention supports, $7 in savings is realized in adult supports, which means that, a person who receives those early intervention supports will need less support as an adult. This also is a non-mandated support, which means it's not protected in any way. We have carved that out into our budget, but if that weren't to exist, then early intervention would go away. There's nothing else to pick that up. So we're really proud that we've been able to provide that and recognize the value that provides.
And that's really important because, like when I was young, when I had my car accident, we didn't really know about the services, and so I was not a person who had access to that because we didn't know anything about them. And if I would have had things like that, because I had speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, all through even high school. But it's important because the earlier that gets involved, the better that it can help the child into their middle school years, their high school years, and into adulthood.
So after age 3, a lot of those direct supports then transition to the school, for instance, like speech therapy. And then our support is that of a service and support administrator. You can kind of think of that as a case manager, although it's a lot more profound than that. When you think back to Ray and Vicky, for instance, that the case manager was the person who helped them do their ring shopping and plan a wedding. Like, that is more than case management. So they are connecting them with supports and with funding streams and things like that, but it's also so much more involved. Rachel, do you want to share what are some things that working with your SSA has meant for you?
So with my SSA, and if you've ever heard of this before, in schools, we have something called IEPs, which is individualized education plans. For people who get services, we have what's called an individualized support plan, services plan. And it's like an IEP, but for life. And so that helped me with figuring out my goals, what I want to do in life, where do I want to be, what things I want to do with either working or being in the community or anything really. And it just helps you kind of plan out your life and have goals, and it can even be bigger than that if you have like physical needs or anything like that. It's put into that plan, and they make sure that those things are provided for those individuals.
So another big piece that we are in charge of is, if we think back to prior to the 50s, people could live in a state institution. And for some people that still is the right fit, and those still do exist. And for some people that's the right setting. For the majority of people, that's not. And so now, the funding that is provided for those state institutions, you can waive your right to live in an institution, and then you can use those waivers in order to live in your community. So 60% of that is funded federally, and then 40% of that is funded locally, and that's through your tax dollars. So that's another thing that we provide. We have waivers, and they can connect somebody with transportation, employment supports, home-delivered meals, a variety of things. Basically, the goal is to create the opportunity for somebody to live fully in their community and to access the world around them. Do you want to talk about what that means for you, Rachel?
So there's different kinds of waivers. My waiver is a level 1 waiver, and I get Uber transportation for that. My transportation to the art studio is covered, and they have their own vehicles that they come and pick us up and drop us off, like a bus system. It also, like Patricia said, covers different things like meal costs, and I just recently discovered this with my plan, but like you can order different kinds of meals, meal prep. It's like HelloFresh or something. You can go in there and you can pick out your meals, and they bring them to you made, so it's easier for someone like me who might have trouble with cooking things at home, and they have them already prepared, and so you can make them easily. So there's that piece of it too.
So the waiver obligation is an important thing to talk about because it is such a significant portion of our funding. The last time we passed a levy was in 2004. We have two levies. We have one passed in 2000 and then one passed in 2004. In 2004, we had 250 people enrolled in waiver supports. By 2024, that number had risen to 1,200. So we've had significant growth. These are also, it's a mandated support, so it's not the kind of thing that once a person is enrolled, we can't disenroll them. So it's not a type of support that is ever gonna go away. And our projections are estimating that of our levy revenues in 2026, 97.5% of those revenues are gonna be consumed by our waiver obligation. I think this, as we talk about our services and who we are and what we're providing, I think that's really important because you all are taxpayers and that's where your tax dollars are going. It's essential what these waivers are providing, but it's also a massive portion of what our budget is made up of. We also provide supports that, it's called behavior supports. Basically, if a person needs any kind of additional supports in order to engage in their community. Sometimes it's as simple as something on the wall that's got what's coming up next in terms of, what is this person doing next? What can they anticipate will be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? And it's just a visual that helps them understand. And sometimes it's more intensive, but it's just, we provide methods to help a person if they're having trouble with transitions or with there's different things that are really triggering to them. Maybe we can understand what's really going on with that person and provide the supports in order for them to be able to live fully in their community. And sometimes it's so simple as just providing a flip chart that helps them understand what's coming next. That team has also partnered with Travel Butler County, for instance, to create accessibility guides for places throughout the county. One example is Jungle Gyms. So it'll just show how you can prepare, what you can think about that might be coming. Like maybe this is going to be, for me, I love Jungle Gyms, but it is sensory overload when I'm in there. So like it's that kind of stuff to try to think about, what can you do to enjoy that space the best. So Travel Butler County has created, along with us, they've created a lot of these guides for different locations throughout Butler County. And then Metro Parks also has been working with us. So that's, another neat thing that we do to connect with our community.
I wanted to say something real quick about that is with my brain injury, a lot of times, because I'm fine with not knowing what's going on, but I like to be prepared as well. Just because I also have a visual impairment, I'm legally blind, so I like to know where I'm going and what's expected there, just in case, so I don't feel overwhelmed or overstimulated. So usually if even like everyday normal things, I will talk like what everything, each step by step in my head is gonna be, just so I'm prepared. Especially if it's a place I've never been before. So that it helps. And then there was something else I saw. Maybe not. Oh, when she was talking about flip charts and things, I have I don't remember if it's through my ISP or if it's just something that like helps with my services, but I do have a binder that helped when I moved out to help me remember everything to do in my apartment and what days to do this on, so I don't get overwhelmed and off track, because getting off track is very easy for people with developmental disabilities.
And I don't know if Rachel has shared this, but she just alluded to it. Rachel lives independently now, and that's because she's an incredible woman, but it's also because the supports that exist that allow her to be able to do that. Ohio is also an employment first state, which means when and where we're able to connect somebody to a job, that's our first goal. So when Rachel talked about an ISP, you plan out like what are your goals, what are your desires, and then you start to map out how you can get there. And employment is always a part of that conversation. It's important because it provides independence, it gives people a meaningful way to spend their time, and it also really improves our community. We hear back from a lot of employers that their most loyal, valued employees are the people that we're able to connect them with. So, Rachel, do you want to talk about your job?
So my job right now is just at Inspiration Studios, and I do digital art, ceramics, fused glass work. I do painting. We do commissions out in the community. We do big murals, and we also have a gallery there, and 50% of the commission goes to us when we get something, and 50% goes back into the studio so that we can keep getting materials and keep doing projects out in the community. And I go there 2 days a week now. Like through waivers, people can go there up to 5 days a week as well if they wanted to. And everything that you sell or every project that you're a part of, you get money from that, and that's it's a vocational day hab program, and that's how I get my income, and I also get Social Security. But that's my job out in the community, is at Inside Out Studio.
So we have, as of today, we have over 450 people with developmental disabilities employed in over 200 locations throughout Butler County. Kroger, McDonald's, Mercy Health, ThyssenKrupp Bilstein, it runs the gambit, so we're very proud of that. We're also a technology first state, which means where we can provide technology to create pathways for independence for people, we will include that. So some things might be like a smart home where maybe the stove has a monitor on it, and if the stove is left on too long, it'll automatically turn off. So if somebody wants to live independently and that's a risk, then we can put that in place. We can also use things like like a Ring camera, that kind of technology to help people stay safe. This is important because it creates more independence, because now we don't need to use a person as a caregiver. We can use technology to help a person stay safe, and then we'll have a remote person available at all times. And it's also a massive cost savings.
With my waiver, I was able to get an iPad Pro, which is like a really big screen, so I can see it better, and I can use that at the studio to do work on that, so I can see and just do better projects and do more projects as well. And that's something with technology that my waiver was able to provide me.
We are also the adults with developmental disabilities. We are the protective agency. So if somebody, this is a very vulnerable population, instances of abuse and neglect, things like that, we're involved in investigating that and then supporting law enforcement. And then we've had a lot of impacts in the community. We've partnered with Family and Children First Council, Butler County Mental Health. We provide wraparound supports, Butler Tech through Project Life and Project Surge to help me grow at the early intervention level. So our involvement in the community is pretty extensive.
I did not do Project Life, but I was a part of Project Search in 2018. And if you're not familiar with Project Search, they teach you different types of job skills. It's a 9-month rotation. Mine was at UC Westchester Hospital, and you learn different job skills, different things about being independent, things like that, and to be out there in the community. And that's a big part of accessing, like you said, accessing the world.
So this slide has our annual report on it, but I'll just share that actually, these are just numbers, you don't need it. The one thing that I wanted to transition back to is our waiver obligation, and recalling that is such a massive consumption of our budget. With that in mind, since we've had we don't have inside millage, so when property values increase, what we collect still remains at that rate from 2004 and from 2000. So with our revenues remaining stagnant and our obligations increasing significantly, in September we declared a state of fiscal emergency and then immediately started enacting some different cost-saving measures. To date, we have enacted $3.7 million in savings. That includes pauses on all raises and increases. We've reduced our work hours, which has resulted in about a 7% decrease for staff wages, freezes on all promotions and vacancies, and then also some cuts to the funding that we're providing for the people we're supporting. So with all of that in mind, of course, that's not sustainable. We will be on the ballot in May. We have a 2 mills levy, which would generate $26,447,000. For the homeowner, this would be $70 per $100,000 valuation per year, or $583 per month. I bring this up because, again, these are your tax dollars, and so I think it's important for you to be aware of that. And while we're talking about developmental disabilities, that's an important part of that messaging. But again, the purpose of today is that it is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, and we want to make everybody aware of who we are, what we're doing, and the people that we're supporting, and then ask you for your partnership in that. If there's any way that you can help create access in this community, and if there's any way that we can partner to do that, we want to be a part of that. Rachel, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, and especially about being a part of the community and adding to it. I've wanted to do that for a long time since, like I said, I grew up here and I spent a good chunk of my life living here. And it's very important that as a person served with disabilities that we get the levy passed and we have votes and supports, because someone like me or so many people that I know and my friends, that really things that we get that enhances our lives could be lost for us, and that could, for me, when I was able to get more out in the community, I was not as depressed as I used to be. I felt more like a part of something, actually a part of society, and a lot of those things that could be taken away could decrease us from being able to access our communities and be a part of our communities again.
So thank you all for allowing us to
Thank
come
you.
and present to you. And if you have any questions, I don't know if we have time for that, but we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Sure. Any questions from council?
No, just a thank you.
Right.
Thank you for everything, and thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your personal story.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Are there any committee reports this evening? If not, we will move right into old business with resolution number 11-2026. I'll take a motion to remove this resolution from the table.
I move to take from the table resolution number 11-2026.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElford, second by Ms. Cloyd, to take from the table resolution number 11-2026. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, now resolution number 11-2026 is before council. Please read the resolution by title only.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Brightview Landscapes LLC for the Interstate 75 and State Route 63 interchange landscape maintenance.
Thank you. Any discussion from council? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 11-2026.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElford, second by Mr. Graves, to adopt resolution number 11-2026. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. McElfresh?
Yes.
Mr. Hickman?
Yes.
Ms. Cloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Funk?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next item is ordinance number 2026-03. Please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1022 of the Monroe Codified Ordinances to establish a comprehensive regulatory framework for concrete construction within the public right-of-way, including contractor licensing, permitting, and an annual concrete assessment program.
Thank you. Any comments from council? Not hearing any, I will take a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-02.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElford, second by Mr. Graves, to adopt ordinance number 2026-02. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hickman?
Yes.
Ms. Cloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Funk?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Ms. McElfresh?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, moving on, ordinance number 2026. Dash 03? For some reason, I got lost there. Please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance approving a final plat for Section 210 of the Stony Brook subdivision.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-03.
I have a motion, may I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElford, second by Mr. Brown, to adopt ordinance number 2026-03. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Cloyd?
Yes.
Mr. Funk?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Ms. McElfresh?
Yes.
Mr. Hickman?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, moving into new business, we have ordinance number 2026-04. Please read the ordinance by title only.
An ordinance amending Section 286.14 of the codified ordinances to establish the concrete contractor licensing program initial and renewal fees.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Not hearing any. Ordinance number 2026-04 will be on the next agenda for a second reading. Next up is resolution number 15-2026. Please read the resolution by title only.
A resolution amending Resolution Number 78-2025 to increase the blanket purchase order for public entities pool to $210,000 and to approve a blanket purchase order for Secure Cyber Defense LLC as recommended by the Director of Finance and the City Manager.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 15-2026.
I have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElfer, second by Mr. Graves to adopt resolution number 15-2026. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Funk?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Graves?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Ms. McElfresh?
Yes.
Mr. Hickman?
Yes.
Ms. Cloyd?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up, we have a consideration of motion to appoint Casey Wagaman and Cameron Jones to the CRA Housing Council. Any discussion from council? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to appoint Casey Wagman and Cameron Jones to the CRA Housing Council. The council shall make an annual inspection of the properties within the community reinvestment area for which an exemption has been granted. The council shall also hear appeal.
I have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElfer, second by Mr. Hickman to appoint Casey Wagaman and Cameron Jones to the CRA Housing Council. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have a consideration of motion to appoint Seth Geisler as the CRA Housing Officer. Any discussion from council on this? If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to appoint Seth Geisler as the CRA Housing Officer. The housing officer shall administer the city's community reinvestment area program and will work with state and local partners, including the Tax Incentive Review Council, counties, and schools.
I have a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. McElfer, second by Mr. Hickman to appoint the CRA Housing Officer. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any administrative reports this evening?
Good evening, members of council. I have two items for this evening. The first community conversation event is next Wednesday at 8 a.m. at Healthy Bee. These events are going to be held quarterly, and they're a format to connect with residents in an open forum. That event is on the city's Facebook page for residents to join. Second item, Gene Williams is here from the Historical Society. He had asked if staff has a schedule yet for the America 250th July 4th celebration. We have a meeting next week with the Lions Club to finalize the schedule for the July 4th for this year, and then we'll bring that recommendation to the Public Involvement Committee. That concludes my report.
Great, thank you. Does anybody on council have anything they'd like to discuss before we adjourn for this evening?
Yeah, I got a couple things. It was brought up that the fire services contract is upside down as far as what they're getting for the services from Lemon Township. What I would like to see now that we've got the public works, I'd like to see the amount of runs made to Lemon Township in 2025 and what the total cost of all those runs, including man hours, were for 2025. And also, the memorandum you sent out, you got down property tax payments for Monroe residents at $157,419. I got in touch with the Butler County. The number that they gave me was $259,013 from the residents of the city of Monroe paying taxes to Lemon Township. So a little difference in the numbers. Maybe you can shed light to it.
Sure. Good evening. So they didn't give me an official number. They gave me a calculation to perform. So I performed that calculation, which equates to the 150,000 and some change.
I actually talked to them.
So, yeah, I talked to a few people as well, but they wouldn't provide me with the information. They just gave me several different reports, the DTE 515 and a abstract value report, and so that's the only information. I don't know if you spoke with someone from the auditor or treasurer's office, but the people I spoke with at the auditor's office, that's what they provided me
I
with.
spoke with the person who would know. She's the one that I contacted. I'm not gonna tell you who it is, but that's all I had. I just, conflicted numbers there, and I want to make sure that the residents of Monroe actually know that they're paying Lemon Township taxes, and they're also supplying Lemon Township with fire, and public works, and aren't actually getting paid to do that. So basically, the Lemon Township, or the Monroe citizens, homeowners, are paying Lemon Township money, and then Lemon Township in return pays Monroe back for those services, but those services aren't being paid in full. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that. And that's all I have.
Okay, is there anything else from council?
Yes. So I'd asked you last meeting about the insurance for the parks. I know you sent an email out. I have since talked to the director of the Pee Wee program. He has not ever been explained, and your email did not even explain why the policy date changed. They used to just turn in their policy, which he carries a policy that starts in July, it ends in June. They use the park for practice. They do not use the concession stands, and they store no equipment at any of our parks. And it's going to cost them significant change to change their policy from a July start date to get a new policy to meet the July to December meeting of the policy change. And there's been no explanation to them why this change is going on and why it needs to happen.
Good evening, members of council. Director Morton and I discussed this today. Football can have a policy just for their season. They're the only sport program that does not store equipment in any facility. They do have a trailer on site that they use that's chained to a pole for security. Donna Campbell, who handles the program, was on vacation last week. We are going to reach out to Mr. Walters and update him. The challenge that staff has had in the past is getting the policies updated at the time of the application to use the park. So in the past, those have come after the application, or in some cases after the season has started. So this was an attempt that was discussed with the Parks Board to bring everyone in line to a January 1st date, but we will reach out to Mr. Walters and make that correction.
So moving forward, what I hear you saying is that these, sports organizations, if they're gonna use the facilities of Monroe, then they have ample warning now, right, for next year to have their insurance by January 1st. Is that, that's what I hear you saying?
No.
That, for the entire season. So football is the only sport that does not use the park throughout the entire year.
Gotcha.
It,
if I can explain this, and I wanted to clarify some things with staff, so I didn't speak last week. What the attempt in this was, every year we have trouble getting policy updates from the three organizations typically. Typically not. Baseball's policy is always renewed in March. So they usually come in January or February. Soccer, baseball usually come in January or February to request the use of the park every year. What I had asked them was that if they could, at that time, bring their updated policies and change the policies to go from that point in July. So they come and request the use of the park in January or February, and then in July, we don't get their updated policy, and we're constantly trying to chase down that policy. I had a conversation with a member of the soccer board who told me that it would cost them much more money if they had to reset their policies, so we let that go, and we did not enforce that. And that's not being enforced on them. And July's is doing soccer, baseball's resets in March. If their policy went up in costs, it was not because of this, because we did not enforce that change. And I tried to call Mr. Walters today, and he did not answer the phone. But, you know, last year, his application was from July to October. And so I don't know if he can even maybe he can get a 6-month policy, I'm unsure.
He carries insurance year-round because they also cover Pee Wee Cheer, which does stuff after the football season.
Okay.
But under his impression, and there's an email, and I saw the email, that said he needed to change his policy starting in January to end in December.
Right,
Which
and
would
we
be
were,
a new policy, which would cost him significantly more money to do a new policy.
and that email went out, and then I think there was a retracted email on that because after having a conversation with the guy that's on the soccer board who's an insurance agent, we changed that and we never enforced that policy.
So they can keep their current insurance, everyone can keep their current insurance policies, they just need to turn the stuff in when it needs to be updated, correct?
Correct. And this gentleman, you know, and I explained to him the trouble we were having. We struggle to get the soccer board's insurance updates, and we struggle to get the football program's insurance updates. And so he assured me that he would email me those policies every year himself if we allowed them to keep their dates, and that's what we did.
All right, thank you. That's all.
All right, is there anything else this evening? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody.